How's it going, guys? This is DizzyPW with MMOHuts. I'm fresh back from PAX East and much warmer, and thought I would swing by the KOG Games place to check out what's new with my favorite anime side-scrolling MMORPG, Elsword. And it just so happens this week they're releasing the third job path for Add, the Time Tracer. So if you saw some of our recent videos on Elsword in 2014, you'll know that Add is the newly added character who, well, let's just say he has an unhealthy fascination with all things Nasad, particularly Eve the Nasad Queen. That's also one of the playable characters in this game. And almost as if he decided realized that this was an unhealthy obsession, he went back in time using the Nasad technology he had finally mastered to try to change his history. And that's kind of leads into the backstory of this new character that I'm currently testing out against GM Crow and GM Moshup in some PvP. And his new backstory is that he went back in time to try to fix the atrocities that the Nasads did to him that got him in a situation to begin with, and found out that it never happened. And he thought, hey, it's time travel, maybe I'm in the wrong dimension. And so he went through dimension after dimension trying to find out exactly what happened, and realized that he is one of a kind, and only in his screwed up dimension did all of these horrible things happen that basically messed up his life. And as you can figure, he kind of snapped. Instead of deciding, hey, maybe it's not so bad, he took the darker approach and said, hey, everything's really bad, and I'm going to make everyone suffer because apparently the universe thinks I'm the only one that's supposed to suffer. So let's see what kind of dark magic technology I can bring to the situation to rectify this. And this will eventually lead to his Diabolical Esper path, though I only have access to the Time Tracer in this match right now. And if you're unfamiliar with who I'm up against, this is Asura, the second upgrade of the third path for Ara Haan, the polearm spiritual girl that's been possessed by a nine-tailed fox, and Elsword's older sister back from the world of Grand Chase, Elesis, who's also in her dark form here, the Crimson Avenger. So let me give you a rundown of what they've got going on before I explain to you what my time-traveling persona has to offer. So Elesis is never someone you want to get into a one-on-one confrontation with, unless perhaps you're Elsword. But every other situation, she'll typically tear you apart. The best way to counter her is to be dodgy and force her to waste her own HP, as many of her skills, such as the Dread Weapon, the Crimson Breaker, the Salt Strike, and so on, actually cost her 20% of her health to cast each time. And by attacking her, you actually open up possibilities for her to actually absorb damage, get stronger, and then hit you in lifesteal. So really, if you can force her to get anxious and miss, which is quite easy to do when you're stopping midair and whatnot, you can really make her bring the pain to herself. On the other end, we have Asura, who is Ara Haan's combination of Exorcist and Fox. And what she brings to the table is a lot of passive power. She can add special hits to her weapons. She can make it so that her claws will strike out at you. She can get some super armor going so she can dive into some pretty hairy situations and come out doing decently. Really, with her, the key that I've found is just to make sure you're the one initiating a fight. If you initiate into a fight that she's ready for, you're usually not going to come out on top. As in this situation. These are two characters you do not want to get stuck in the middle. But let's talk about some of the cheesy elements I have on my side that's giving me a fighting chance here. So you might have seen me summoning these little electric orbs. You can actually combo 3 of these orbs together at a time to create little fields that'll damage and kind of knock up or knock back people that walk into them. They don't last very long, and they're a little bit mana-intensive to cast. That's not a huge deal on this character, thanks to his really useful Nasad armor mode overlimit. And one sec, what you saw there, he has an ability called Seal of Time. It's a party buff ability, so he can use it on other people that he's teamed up with too. And this not only makes it so that your cooldowns are on shorter cooldown timers, but if you die within the 15 seconds of casting it, you'll actually resurrect with the amount of HP you had when you first activated it. So in PvP, you can really mess with people, and it doesn't even have that long of a cooldown time, so if you can make proper use of his Nasad armor mode overlimit, you can really wreak havoc on people by forcing them to waste their epic attacks on you for nothing. So back to the Nasad armor over limit. What this is a really, really powerful, essentially your Fury mode, but instead of a normal Fury mode, one, it unlocks new combos for your basic attacks. Two, it makes it so that a lot of your abilities will add bonus mana regen. Or when it's deactivated, your mana costing abilities will actually refill your DP bar. So if you do it right, you can basically juggle and just constantly spam your attacks as fast as you have the cooldown reduction to do so, which isn't that much of a limitation considering that you can reduce your cooldowns with his Seal of Time. As a result, I actually find you can bring a lot higher mana cost abilities into the fight and get away with them on the regular, such as this new favorite of mine, Maximum Strike, where you can essentially summon 6 of these little orbs of death, and all you have to do is land one of them in the straightforward motion, and the following 5 will actually home in on your target. And if you can line it up properly in a free-for-all like this, you can actually shoot it through 2 of them at a time. So in terms of weaknesses, he's got some pretty long cast times that you can get interrupted on pretty easily. So you might want to take advantage of the fact that he gains mana so quickly, especially I didn't mention that his particular brand of knockdown reduction passive will actually also give you mana regen over time. And wow, like I said, you do not want to get caught by Elesis. If she can land those abilities on you, especially the ones that cost her a percentage of her maximum HP, then there's really nothing you can do to stop her. Jeez. Getting owned by Elesis always makes me lose my train of thought. So back to what I was talking about, he can mana break a lot more often because it's a lot less costly to gain 100 mana and use it defensively than most other characters. So although I'm not the best at using mana break, I'm more of a cheese character than a combo character, I recognize that against these two characters it would be extremely useful to be practiced at mana breaking. So like I said, her super armor that she gets with her scratch dash attack really negates anything that this might do. But my lightning chain is ideal for keeping someone like Elesis off. And I can also do this just now, which is my void field, where I can restrain my target's movement and essentially hold them down to get shocked longer and longer. Or if I've got a teammate on my side, I can hold them in place with it long enough to allow them to get one of their ultimate attacks off. Perhaps even the newly released hyperactive abilities such as Elise's Fate Smash, which is just a flaming sword that blasts you like some kind of crazy attack out of Bleach, or the Millennium Fox, which I really hope I don't get hit by at some point in this match, because essentially Ara Haan can just decimate this entire playing field, and there is not a damn thing I can do once I get into it, which is something I'm always wary of when I have to chase someone down. You know what happens when you trap a fox in a corner or any other animal. It doesn't end well for you. But I'm really looking forward to this character. He feels a little bit faster and smoother than the past versions of ads classes that I've played as. I don't know if it's my armor or what, but he just dashes faster. His combos are smoother, especially his Fury combos that he gains with the Nasad armor mode overlimit are just much smoother. He can dash around and catch people really easily. He's got his nice space crack for doing quick, cheap damage to people or interrupting their combos when they're coming at you. And other than that, there's just so many things that he brings to the table in terms of parties, both in PvE and PvP. I know a lot of the bosses in Elsword tend to catch you off guard and just spike you down with their super crazy ultimates. And he can basically buy insurance for your team with Seal of Time to make sure that that's negated as long as you know the combos. And no! This is it! This is the Millennium Fox! I knew I was going to run into this sooner or later. Wow. So I don't even know if I could survive that at full health. That is just one of the most overpowered attacks in the game. Thankfully, Elesis here had full health and managed to tank it. Basically, using an ability like that on Elesis at full health is just asking for her to follow up and smash you. But overall, things are going pretty well. One thing to note, if you're used to playing as Ad, is his mutation points don't have as many uses in this path as they do otherwise. I would say the key thing is if you use this ability, you'll notice that it has a much longer duration and does way more damage. And there's the other one. That was Fate Smash. I'm not very good at dodging these types of things. So I'm going in with my Seal of Time buff on as insurance here. That's that's Necromancy, which is one of her passives that she can activate. But there you go, just saved me. So they're both hurt, and I need 2 more kills to win this. I think I'm going to wrap this up as soon as I get up here with the awesome Stardust Shower with 1 mutation point for added duration, and that'll wrap this up. You guys definitely got to get in and try this ad. If you think you've played ad before, you don't know his true power. I think there's going to be some serious balancing coming in onto this shortly, so take advantage of it while you can. But in the meantime, this is DizzyPW signing out. I leave you with this teaser of the second job upgrade.